Hello everyone, my name is CosmicCutlass and welcome back. I didn't think that I would be making this kind of video this early on in the channel's life, but here we are. Today we're going to be talking about Cyberpunk 2077 and how the launch has gone. The game's been out for a couple weeks, and there's been a lot of news regarding the performance of the game and overall what's going on at CD Projekt Red. But before we get into that, what I want to do is thank you guys for supporting the channel. You know, for anyone who's been watching for the past couple videos, liking them, subscribing, I just want to say thank you so much. It means the world to me. Knowing that there's at least a couple people out there watching the videos kind of gives me the positivity that I need to keep going and trying to build the channel. So thank you, please keep watching. I promise I've got tons of ideas for really fun stuff. And with that being said, let's dive right into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is just the launch of Cyberpunk 2077 in general. It hasn't gone great for CD Projekt Red. There's been constant news reports of glitches within the game that are causing it to break, to make the progress unplayable moving forward. There's crashes. The way the game looks graphically is not what was originally promised, especially in advertisements and reviews, depending on what platform you're playing the game on. There was a hashtag going on Twitter called Cyberpunk 2077 just to show how buggy and glitchy the game is. A lot of times you'll drive into an area and it'll take up to 10 seconds for all the assets to load into the space. The NPCs are kind of all over the place. Some of the progression is even blocked because of some of these bugs. You might encounter something where if you do a particular step, you're immediately blocked from progressing within the game. Now, I know CD Projekt Red has been really on top of trying to get those bugs out so that people can actually play the game. As of this recording, there's already been 3 patches for the game that have fixed some of the visual issues, as well as some of the bugs and glitches within the game. I think that these patches are going to continue. They've already announced that there will be patches early January and one early February, which I think is good. That's going to keep the game moving forward, making it the best game that it possibly could be. Now, having a game be buggy at launch isn't a particularly new thing that we've seen. In fact, it happens almost every time a AAA title gets released, especially one that is so big with so many different quest lines that you can take. And what typically happens is those games are buggy at launch, they get patched, and they become playable. They go on to win Game of the Year. I think it's something that we're going to continue to see unless fans, demand that they get finished games at launch, and I just don't think that's a realistic thing that's going to happen. People want games and they want them as quickly as possible. But just to name a few, here are some of the games that have been notoriously buggy at launch that eventually became playable through patches and other work from the developers. And I think the game that I want to talk in particular about is that last game right there, No Man's Sky. Because I see a lot of similarities with the launch from No Man's Sky to the launch of Cyberpunk 2077. And I think that the similarities are very interesting in the way that the developers were kind of treated as the game was launched. So No Man's Sky, if people don't know, is a space exploration game. And when the game was announced, it was supposed to be massive. The developers said all these crazy things that you could do within the game, how good it was going to look, and this was going to be the game. The game came out, and it was kind of a flop because the developers didn't really deliver on their promises. I would say it launched too early. It was almost unplayable. There was lots of clipping and just glitches that, characters looked terrible. Mining, it just looked like you were deleting assets from the game. But it's been patched since it came out, and I believe, in 2020 it got a huge patch, and it looks like a completely different game. It looks absolutely gorgeous. It looks like the game that was promised to us from the beginning. I think that with Cyberpunk 2077, as it is right now, it is not the game that we were promised 8 years ago, but with it being such a big game, I do feel that there's the skeleton of a good game within it, and I think similarly to No Man's Sky, it will become good with time. But I do want to go back to the point where I said that it launched too early. We've become so used to games being launched and put onto the market before they're completed games. The developers know that they're not ready to be played, but they need to get them out around the holiday time so that they can cash in on people buying gifts, they can make their money, and they can put it towards their year-end annual profits. This creates a problem where they have made promises to the fans that they cannot deliver in time. It also makes a problem where people who purchase the product lose interest to actually play the game by the time it gets good. I know that CD Projekt Red, with its past titles, mainly The Witcher 3, have made a really good name for themselves as saying that they don't force their workers to crunch for launches, they don't charge for DLC, they care more about the games than money. It's kind of now showing that that's not really true. While they've been able to avoid those things in the past, it doesn't look like that they're going to be able to avoid that in the future. And obviously they do care about money over the game because they pushed the game out before it was ready. Now, do I think that they don't care about the game at all? No, I think they're going to make it a good game. It's just going to take some time. I think they dropped the ball with this one, for sure. For that, I want to go to where CD Projekt Red really messed up. And it was deceiving the reviewers and deceiving the audience and consumers who would eventually go on and purchase this game. As things were kind of ramping up to the launch of the title, and we were starting to see advertisements, we were starting to see credible sources review the game, we came to learn after launch that they were not actually receiving the same game that would be released. They were only receiving and allowed to comment on the PC versions of the game. This is the game version that performed the best, looked the best, and was the closest to the game that we were promised. And with this, the reviewers ended up scoring the game so high. I believe IGN's initial score of the game was a 9 out of 10. What they should have done from the get-go was make an announcement saying that the game, as it currently stands, does not look good on PS4, it doesn't look good on Xbox Series X. And what they could have even done was just made it a PS5 title, made it an Xbox Series X title, saying, this does not run on PS4. The game is too big and the systems just cannot handle it. And I honestly don't know who's at fault. Is it publishers involved with CD Projekt Red? Is it the higher-ups at CD Projekt Red? Is it everyone at CD Projekt Red? Because, as it's been announced, the employees do receive a percentage of CD Projekt Red's annual profits. And with 2020 being as difficult a year as it has been, a lot of those employees probably want the boost in the income. I don't think that that's far off from what the truth is, and then they know that they can just work on it after 2021 starts and make it the game that they promised it would be. Well, I know that there's a lot of negativity going around. I know I've talked about some of the negative things, but I would like to kind of get away from that and everything that people have been saying about the game and CD Projekt Red, and I would like to talk about my experience with the game. I picked it up on launch, and I put the game into my base PS4 console, and I booted it up, and I noticed that it did not look as good as I had seen previously. I started playing the game, and the story started unraveling, and I kind of got swept away into it. I'm having a blast, to be honest. And I know that as time goes on, the game will be more playable, and I'm looking forward to that. For people who picked up the game and are upset, you have every right to be. So if you have picked up the game and you're unhappy with it and you want your money back, get a refund. Absolutely, you're entitled to that. They've come out and said that. For those of you who haven't purchased the game, waiting's not a bad idea, honestly. The damage has already been done. Things are only going up from here. If anyone has any experience with the game that they want to talk about, please leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you guys. And if there's anything else that you want me to talk about with the game, please let me know. I'm happy to do so. If you want to see my experience with playing the game, I'm currently streaming it on Twitch. I'll be at twitch.tv/CosmicCutlass. For more videos, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I've posted new videos. There will be new videos up every week. Till next time.